Alright, I'm back, and I'm gonna try and cut down and saying the constantly because I watched that video back, and I did, and it was constant Anyway, moving on. So, four methods of locomotion for class bivalvia. Let me pull up a picture. So I couldn't find anything perfect, but this will do. So we have our little bivalve friend to help, and I'll just point out how the movements work. So they can either use jet propulsion. So they, I said again. I swear I'm gonna try not to. So for jet propulsion, it's pretty simple. They suck up water and then they use that and then like expel it so that they can move forwards. These guys use that and they're one of the first to do that actually. They also have thistle threads to attach to each other and to different surfaces. They also have a foot, which is the most common one that you would think of to move around. So for the foot, that would be gastropoda. That is a foot right there on the bottom. Also in Polyplacophora, you can see here, that's the foot, and Monoplacophora. So you can see the difference between these two. Poly, many, mono, single. So they just have one valve, and the foot. So then the other way they can move is they attach to foreign hard surfaces like rocks. So some differences between all of these, the ones I'm going to be focusing on, the octopus, squid, cuttlefish, and the chambered nautilus. So nautiloids, they're covered in a shell. They have a large coiled shell and a septa, which there's chambers within a shell filled with gas that helps them float. That can be seen in our lovely friend, the chambered nautilus. So it has the chambers which they can fill with gas when needed to be able to float. And they don't really have too much choice in movement, although they do have little gills to move. Then for the siphuncle, that's another part of the nautiloids. It's a cord. The siphuncle is a cord that connects all the chambers and helps remove the salt from the water, and helps regulate the amount of gas. So that is what allows them to float. So the head of the chamber nautilus has about 60 to 90 tentacles, which is quite a few in such a small little space. They're all coated with a sticky substance, which helps them attach to different materials. And they have different sensory functions. They can touch, determine chemicals. Some bring food into their mouths. And they move by jet propulsion. For their digestion, they scavenge on the seafloor. Their food is stored and gets sent to their stomach for the full digestion. Then for colloids, they have no external shell. My bad. That they include the cuttlefish. They have a bulky body and fins. So, as you can see, the cuttlefish right here does not have any fins, but rather these appendages. They have 10 appendages, which they have 8 short, heavy ones called arms and 2 larger ones called tentacles. No, they are not all tentacles. They're actually arms, which I learned pretty recently. I found that was pretty cool. So they also have an internal shell embedded in the mantle. This is for squids. They have a long cylindrical body. Here, let me get to a squid. I don't know if one's on here, so I'm gonna pull one up. So here we have our little squid diagram. So yeah, I'm kind of just replacing the ums with but pleasing with that. So the squid has a long cylindrical body. It has a pair of fins from the mantle tissue. Sorry, I just moved the tab that I was on. Okay, so it has the fins over here, and it has the long cylindrical body, as you can see. This is the tail. It also has 10 appendages, 5 pairs of 2 arms. One pair is larger and called tentacles. So Here are the tentacles, and then there's all the little pairs of the arms. So the inner shape of each arm is flattened and covered with suckers that have stalks and teeth. So yes, the squid suckers do have teeth. I'm not sure if that was a common fact, but I didn't know that. They also have, well, I didn't know that until recently. So there are tubes around the suckers that help hold the prey. They also have a pen on the inside, which is the remnant of what would have been a shell, and it has the internal structure that provides support and structure. So, yeah. Going back to this picture, we have our octopus, aka part of octopods. Octopods have 8 arms. No need for tentacles here. They have suckers that lack stalks and teeth. They don't have tentacles. As I said before, they have a sack-like body. They don't have fins, and they feed on a variety of fish and invertebrates. These guys, they do not really they don't have a lot of swimming capabilities. So they mostly stay on the ground because they don't have fins. They don't have the chambers like the chambered nautilus. They don't have the structure that is needed for that. So that is octopus. So all of these guys, including the squids, have fluids called sepia. I don't really know how to pronounce it. You'd think it'd be easy, but it's high concentrations of black and brown pigment called melanin. Squids actually use luminescent or white pigment to scare off predators when they're in the deep, because it wouldn't really be beneficial in the deep ocean where it is dark to have black ink, because it's not really disguising, so they use the white pigment to scare them. And in the cloud, it looks like the general shape of the original animal, so that is what scares them and confuses them. So yeah, that was annoying. I don't know what I was going for there, but yes. So I'm going to do a few diagrams now. So if you're taking the same test as I am, you're going to need to know the clam anatomy from the dissection. If you're not in my class, don't worry. So this is just something to keep in mind. The heart, the shell, this would be the umbo, and then you also need to know the ventral side, the posterior side, the anterior side. So the siphons over here, the anus also over here, then the gills. You don't need to know the intestines, so the reproductive organs, just the stuff that was visual without cutting too deep into the clam. Then the foot over here, the mouth over here. This is the anterior end, and back here is the posterior end. Just remember, anterior is where the mouth is, and then the posterior is opposite. So then there is, sorry, I'm looking for the mantle, but I don't see it. The mantle is just like, it's very visible. It's easy to tell what it is. And then there's the anterior adductor muscle. I forgot what the word was for this because it doesn't say it. And then the posterior shell muscle, and then there's also the teeth over here. Keep that in mind. So yeah. Also remember the palps. They're not visible here, so just keep in mind what they look like. Then there's the squid. So the squid, just know the basic anatomy of. I'm gonna make another video because I just don't have enough time. I have a minute left. Yeah, I just have 10 minutes to do each video. So just remember the mouth. It has a little beak here. Then the water flow. You don't need to know everything. You need to know the gonads, though. The fin, the mantle, the siphon, the tentacles, the sucker cups. Those are easy, though. The arms, the eye, and the pen, which is the internal shell. It kind of looks like an amber color. The gills also, they're feathery structures in there. That's how you could really tell. And then a few other things I can't quite remember from the lab because I did a lab for this section. But anyway, have a lovely day and stay tuned for the next video.